Hey guys, welcome back to what was my garden. If you're new here, my name is Ashley and this is / was my garden. So you might be asking, why are you saying this was your garden? Well, I have not gardened in a year. So you might be wondering, okay, why haven't you gardened in a year? The last time I gardened was probably when I posted my last video, which was just about a year ago, I think. And it was me building my bamboo gazebo, which I've actually, I have done a lot of updating to the gazebo itself since then. I added some more roof pillars, I added some more support beams and all that, and I'll show you guys that in a different video, like everything I did, because this structure did need to be finished. But as far as like getting out there and planting things, harvesting things, I haven't been out there in a year. And yeah, there's a lot to that. Like I had no intention of stopping gardening, like absolutely no intention. I had a series of sicknesses that lasted 4 months, and my intention was always to get back out here, but that just never happened. I never felt well enough, or like I had the time. Whatever energy I did have went towards my family and work. I actually got a new job about a year ago, and it was a great job. It was best job I've ever had. I was making more income than I ever had. For the first time in my life, I had what they call disposable income. Like, you actually could pay your bills and have some money left over to spend on things that were wants, not just needs. Never experienced that in my adult life. We were always a paycheck to paycheck kind of a family. So that was great. So I was really focused on working a lot and taking care of my kids, my house, and dealing with these sicknesses one on top of the other. Then about 2 weeks ago, I was laid off from my job. So, and it wasn't just me that was laid off, it was like a massive layoff. Like a ton of people that were hired on at the same time as me were also laid off. We weren't given a reason for it. It was just, that's it. No more work. It was work from home. So it was like all of the things I was working on just poofed and it was over. So I had a major like panic that night because I did not know what I was gonna do. I had no warning whatsoever. So that was a lot. So yeah, so right now I still have a part-time job that I've managed to keep, but my full-time income is gone, totally gone. So I need to revert my mind back to what I used to do, like watching every dollar, trying to save as much money as I can. And yeah, I just have to find a new way forward. So I'm looking for a new job, but honestly it's really hard with the state of the economy to really find something, and I'm certainly not going to find anything as well paying as the job I had before. So, you know, like I said, that night I was super upset about it, but then, you know, I did what I know to do, which is turn to God, and I looked up, you know, I just did a Google search, as we often do, and it was like scriptures for when you lose your job. Just super straight to the point there. And this is the scripture I found. So that to me was like super comforting, because like over this last year I've said so many times, thank you so much, God, for this job. It's such a blessing. You know, thank you so much. But just as he gave me that job, and really it did kind of just fall into my lap. It wasn't something I was actively searching for. It just kind of like presented itself and I was able to get the job. But you know, just as he gave it, he'd take it away. So And it's interesting because the week prior, I was talking to my nephew, and he was feeling really discouraged because he's been trying to find a job. He's just 16, so he's looking for his first job. And he was just really like down because nobody wanted to hire him because he's just a kid, especially, you know, with the economy the way it is, and so many adults are looking for jobs. So, you know, they're gonna choose the adult over the kid any day, you know. But so I told him, I was like, look, buddy, every time in my life I needed a job, I needed to make ends meet, God always provided a way every single time. And oftentimes I did not know how that was going to happen or where that source of income was going to come from, but it always did. It always came through every single time. I always found something just when I needed to. So, and I told him that to encourage him. And so I was thinking that night that I lost my job, I have to go back and listen to my own words because, like I said, I trust God. He knows what he's doing. So we are on a new journey. So how this all affects the garden and this whole channel is because before I had more money, less time. Now I have a lot of time and no money. So I have a lot more time to come out here and garden. And honestly, this is how I'm going to save a lot of money because I can grow a lot of food that will really help us on our grocery bill, because right now groceries prices are insane. That is where I feel like the majority of our budget is going, is to groceries. So if I can cut back on that by being out here growing stuff, sharing videos with you guys, that's what I'm going to do. So I'm excited to get, you know, back out here in the garden. I think it's going to be slow going a little bit because, again, I still don't exactly have 100% of what I would say my health back. So I'm working on that. Yeah, so I guess I'm going to show you guys what a garden looks like when you don't tend to it for a year. It's pretty wild. You know, the good thing is that I did have a lot of things that are perennial, that don't die, that can just sustain on their own, like banana trees, avocado tree. My olive tree actually produced olives this year, which is super exciting. And I have a lot of other stuff like the sweet potatoes, which are a lot of what you see behind me. They just went rampant. And also something seeded themselves. Like I've got flowers out there from forever ago that reseeded themselves and are just flourishing in and amongst the tons of weeds. So the next few videos are going to be about me getting all of this back in order, and I'm going to take you on a tour to show you what it looks like and how much work we have to do right now. So this is like the view when you very first step out the patio door. This is like sweet potatoes and weeds, and somewhere under there is a hammock. So this actually had like a trellis over the hammock. The sweet potatoes grew over the trellis, weighed it down so much it collapsed the trellis, and now we just have this monster of a thing here. We still have the banana trees back there, which are doing good, but I mean, look at this. This is insane. I'm gonna walk through it to show you exactly how high the weeds have gotten. Like this area, if you watch like one of my previous videos, this was all like leveled, wood chipped. I had just put stepping stones down, and now this is like almost like hip high. And I'll show you guys what that looks like because I'm gonna go walk through it. As you can see, like, look how freaking high these things are. Like the Biden's Alba is like insanely high. So all this needs to go. This needs to be back to ground level. This needs to be a path. I need actual like borders where my beds need to be. Like, yeah, this all has to go. A very large portion of this is sweet potato vines. I'm gonna try to come through here without falling. A large portion of this is sweet potato vines. I'm not going to be just like pulling them out and getting rid of them. I might keep a small patch back here, but I really want to relocate these to the front yard. These are not the kind that produce like good tubers for eating, like the traditional sweet potato that you think of. These more so are used for their edible greens. So like these are what you eat. And they're kind of interesting. They remind me sort of a cucumber, like a dry cucumber, if you can imagine that. Like if you get the taste of a cucumber without like the moisture from it, that's kind of what they remind me of. They make a really good substitute for like spinach, like in smoothies, or if you're gonna cook it down. It's virtually the same. I mean, I don't think anyone would be able to pick out the difference necessarily. So they're really good and they're full of vitamins and stuff, but they don't produce actual sweet potatoes. So I don't need this much of it. Certainly this is more than we could ever possibly eat. It's covering like a 20-foot area. So this I will relocate to the front yard, mostly because they make a really good ground cover, and that's what I really need in the front yard. It's going to function more so as an ornamental necessarily than growing this much so we can eat it. So, but it is good. It is a good thing to have as a spinach substitute. So, but I just don't need this much of it everywhere. So these are all those sweet potatoes. The bananas are back there. That whole area was my green bean trellis area. Those were covered in green beans about a year ago. Harvested a bunch. Had some tomatoes back there, but now that's all just overgrown with tons of Biden's alba, those tiny little white flowers, which a lot of people consider weeds, but they are a native. I will show you here. These are a native to Florida. They're very good for our bee population. So the bees are super happy right now. They're super happy with what I have let this become, because it is a huge natural bee habitat. But we need to get rid of it. So, but we're gonna plant other things that the bees still love. We're still gonna make this a very bee-friendly area, just not a complete bee sanctuary as it is right now. So, and this is Lambertia. This is one of those flowers I told you reseeded itself and has just grown everywhere, and it's absolutely beautiful. Like, look at that. It has these almost like not even real, they almost look like a cartoon, because they're just so perfect with that really dark center. Like, they're just so cute. And they're vines, and it is just absolutely running wild. It's all over here. It's all over those bamboo poles back there. It's all over here. This is its original place where it was. But the funny thing is that when I had stopped gardening, this was virtually dead. Like, there was nothing left to it, but it completely grew back and it's just flourishing. So I won't be getting rid of all of this. I will just be getting rid of some of it, kind of tuning it back. Oh, this is my huge side of the yard where I would grow all my broccoli in previous videos. Those, under all those vines, are lemon trees. Somewhere under there are lemon trees covered in lemons. And of course I got my olive tree. But yeah, you can see there's kind of still a little bit of a path here. That's because a few months ago I did run a lawnmower back here, because all of my olives actually grew and for the first time flowered and produced olives. So I was back there harvesting them, which that was something else. But yeah, so that was my path from probably 2 months ago that I just mowed a path so I could get through there, but it's total jungle there. This is another one of my beds. My teepee trellis is still there. Then of course we have our avocado here, which has gotten huge in the last few months, but now it's dropping leaves and I'm not really sure why that's happening. So I need to look into that. I got more bananas there, which actually are about ready to produce. I already got one set of bananas from this bunch of trees, and now, as you can see, we've got some more that are growing super fast. And then back in there, I have a kumquat tree somewhere. Like, it is totally covered in weeds, and I need to carefully pull those out without damaging the tree. But somewhere in there, there's a kumquat tree. Heading back over here again. I'm just gonna walk through here. We're just gonna go through the wilds and hope we don't run into a snake, because I have had some snakes. Yeah, so as you can see, it's not as horrible back there. There's still weeds, but it's not as overgrown, because this is an area that I did plant a lot in, so I have a lot of beds back there that have not been completely overtaken by weeds. So we need to reclaim the entire yard. Hey, look, there's one of those lemons I was telling you about. This thing's covered in lemons. It's just also covered in vines. Yeah, so this is what we're working with. An absolute disaster. So, well, okay, I'm not going to say disaster. This is nature reclaiming its zone. Like, this is insane for me to see this. Like, this was all just grass and then beds over there. Like, this is crazy. But we're gonna fix it. So, if I'm being totally honest with you guys, this feels like a huge endeavor. Like, I knew in my mind how much work was involved here, but there's a difference between acknowledging it and voicing out loud to you guys, like, how much I have to do. So it's a lot. It's gonna be mini videos. I will document the whole process, because this is going to be something I'm going to want to look back on when it's all done. And I know I can get it done, because this was once not a garden. This was once just a plain backyard, and I built all these beds. I amended all the soil. I built all these structures, and I can do it again. So it's just going to take some time. It's an effort. But, you know, we'll get it done. So thank you guys so much for watching. Thank you for staying subscribed to the channel, even though I've been on a major hiatus. I really appreciate that, everyone. Mostly all my subscribers are still there from a year ago when I was gardening. So I appreciate that. And yeah, I hope you guys take a little bit of encouragement from this video, that it's okay if you just stop gardening. Like, it's okay. Like, life happens. Like, as someone who, you know, super passionate about gardening, who I thought that would be something I would never stop doing, I stopped for a year. You know, sometimes life just, you know, kicks you a few times, but you know, you got to get back up and start again. So if I can do this, you can too. If you feel like there's something daunting that you are trying to do, that you want to get back into, you know, there's no time frame where you have to do it. Like, just take little steps, and you'll see, you know, I'm going to put this back together step by step, and yeah, we'll get it done. So thank you guys so much for watching, and I hope you guys have a blessed week.